Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Real Thoughts with Bob Benham. I am your host, Bob Benham. I appreciate you being with me today. And all I can say is life can just keep throwing stuff at you, and you just got to keep on going. It's just been one of those weird, weird times for me. uh, More medical crap being thrown at me and all that good stuff. And uh, I'm tired of it. Very, 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 very tired of it. Excuse me. Um, it is just crazy. Um, it's one of those things that when it happens, you just say why, and then you get to the point where you just you try to figure out or try to understand what in the world is going on. Um, you just can't. You just get to the point where you're like, what? Why? Why does you do you every time you I go to the doctor, it's one of these things that um something new gets thrown at me. um, some kind of new diagnosis of something weird. I mean, something that, it's like, where'd that come from? How, why, you know? And so I'm sitting there going, um, now what do we do? You know? Um, and some of it is, like, excuse me. I'm sitting there. I've been dealing with this one issue for, oh gosh, uh, about 3 years. I've had this severe pain in my abdomen, just severe. Can barely touch it. I mean, if I just touch it and rub it down there, it just is painful. And like I said, been dealing with that for 3 years, and been scoped and all that stuff. And the doctor's like, I can't find anything other than I got a high, what they call a hiatal hernia, and uh, diverticulitis, and that's nothing that should be causing that kind of pain. And been through some other testing and stuff, and the doctor goes, you know what? Nobody else is really seems to, you know, be going out on a limb or really looking to find out what's going on. So he says, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. He says, I'm going to order a couple tests. He says, I want an ultrasound the arteries around your stomach and stuff and see something's not quite right down there. I thought, okay, let's do it. So he does. And um, wouldn't you know it, two arteries come back blocked. The one to my liver and spleen is 75% to 99% blocked. And the one that goes to my stomach and upper or uh, small intestine and large intestine, same thing, 75 to 99% blocked. And I'm like, does that explain the pain? He goes, absolutely. He says, Every time you sit down to have a meal, he said, you're basically giving he says, the only way analogy I can give you is that when you sit down to have a meal, your stomach and intestines are not getting enough blood to process your food and to process get your digestive system to work right. He says you're basically giving that system a heart attack when you go sit down to eat. He says you're not processing your food right. He says so that's what's causing your digestive issues. I said, that makes sense because I've been having digestive issues the whole time as well. So now I'm like, well, well, what's next? He says, I'm going to refer you to a vascular surgeon so you can get in and see what they can do to fix it. So now I'm waiting for that. Of course, there's a process involved in that. They got to do their scans and stuff like that. He said to get it narrowed down so they know exactly where to go in and go to fix it. So we're in that process now. And uh, I just, I'm just tired. Tired of doctors, tired of all the stuff that's involved with health issues. I've been going through this stuff so much over the last, oh God, about the last 15 years. Um, it's been really, really tough. Um, Draining. Um, it makes you, it makes the depression tough for sure. Um, because you really can't get to the point where you have a good day, a feeling, or you're feeling like you're having a good day. And I'm sorry for clearing my throat so much, but I have chronic laryngitis, and it's just that's another thing that's just crazy. But anyway, it is. Um, it makes it so hard to be able to enjoy life, and um, when you have depression from other things, and then you have these health issues like this on top of that, um, it does make for a very complicated situation. I mean, you're sitting there, you're just, you just, it's hard to smile. It's hard to want to engage um, in life. Um, there's so much that um, I enjoy and I would enjoy if I didn't have to deal with all this stuff. Excuse me. Um, and what makes it tougher too is the fact that I I can't go and do like long distance type trips or get away from home to enjoy um, something like, just to say, hey, I want to get away for a few days. Um, that kind of thing is almost off the table now because of the number of prescriptions I have to take and the the specialty stuff that everything that I got to take care of. I got to have this available. I got to have that available. Um, and to try to remember to take all that stuff with you um, is crazy. And then the number of appointments that I got to keep. I mean, to look at my calendar. Um, y- y- I got to. I mean, my calendar looks more like an executive of a company, and it's not for an executive of a company. It's just for to go to freaking doctors. It is nuts. Um, that's just. I don't know. It is just hard to it's hard to take and hard to deal with sometimes. Um, and these last few weeks actually have been really, really uh, tough because I've had so many appointments. Um, just crazy amount of appointments and a lot of driving, a lot of uh, oh, I can't even tell you. Poked, prodded, stuck, whatever. Procedures too. I've had to have a couple procedures done um, because of neck pain and arthritis and stuff like that to try to alleviate those issues. Um, excuse me. It has just been absolutely just nuts. Just nuts. And I don't know. It's hopefully I just I got a feeling the only way it's going to ever slow down is when they're shoving me into the oven to cremate me. You know, that's the only way it's going to slow down. Um, but that's oh well, it's just how it's going to be. And so, on that note, it seems to be on just the real world just happens to be even just as bad. And um, oh god, I I really haven't seen much of the news here because I I have been suffering from news fatigue. Um, I have had enough of the garbage going on. Um, I am suffering from Democrat fatigue and libtard fatigue. Um, with all these idiots, shutting down the government again, and of course, blaming the Republicans for it again. Um, these people are just the stupidest morons on the planet. I mean, just the biggest idiots in the world. Um, there's no other way to describe it. I mean, the way they try to twist the words and try to twist everything to make it that it's not their fault. It's not they're the greatest things in the world. They're they're just so morally superior and just such brainiacs and just all this stuff. And it's always everybody else's fault. It's never their fault. And they're the ones that created all these freaking problems. They're the ones that created them. And then, they're going to sit there and tell you, oh, yes, we're going to solve your problems for you. They're not going to solve crap. They're not going to solve crap. They're going to create more. And, you know, just sit there and listen to these morons. And then, I mean, what's worse is to sit there and listen to their followers. Uh, wow. I just they literally take opinion pieces and make that news and make that as fact. And it's the most crazy. I don't even have a word for it. It is the most crazy thing I have ever seen, where you take opinion pieces and make it fact. I've seen it so much where I mean, and this is on like X, Facebook, all these places where they'll take. I mean, they literally have like Occupy Democrats, just individuals where they write, breaking, and they have their little headline, and then they write their little piece underneath it. Strictly opinion, strictly opinion, but they'll make it sound so factual and you know, and when you get to the end, you sit there and go, I didn't say nothing that was useful. And other than the fact that, they're bashing Trump and bashing conservatives and whatever. And you just sit there and shake your head. And then you sit there and look at who I always look at who that I know personally. Um, that's clicked like, given their 2 cents worth on it, what their comments are. And I'm just like, really? Are you that stupid? And I mean, I tried to be I tried to be very respectful and not not name call, not, so I used to say, "Hey, I'm glad that that's your opinion or whatever," and you know, but they're just plain dumb. I can't do it anymore. This is because they don't care about what they call me. They don't care about what they say about me. I mean, it's the racist, the whole thing. And hey, gloves are off at people. I'm sorry. They wanted this whole thing of, well, they go low, you got to take the high road. No, 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 no. Because taking the high road has done absolutely nothing to help. I mean, the Republicans have done that, and the conservatives, and where's it gotten? Because people love the conflict and they love the people that take the low road. They follow those people that take the low road. They want that. They like that. They're all about it. So, hey, I I don't have a problem calling them out and calling them out for what they really are, which is a bunch of morons. Yeah, I'll call them out exactly for what they are. These people are just, I mean, it's just crazy. They're just crazy. Some of these quotes that have been out here lately, I mean, just absolutely nuts. I mean, they're still raising hell about. You look at this their idea, this shutdown, and they're shutting it down for ICE because of ICE. ICE is already funded. It's done. So they're shutting it down for no reason because the funding's already there. So what are they shutting down? What are the other things they're shutting down to be able to get to ICE? They're not shutting down ICE. ICE is funded. So what are they who are they hurting to get? Well, I found out the Naval Aviation Museum shut down because of that. What sense does that make? Makes no sense. You're going to shut down a museum to try to hurt people because you don't like ICE. You passed the laws that created ICE. ICE was not a problem when Barack Obama was president. ICE was doing the job you wanted had to have them do. And now, because Donald Trump is doing the exact same thing, all of a sudden it's an issue. Oh, but there's a problem because you morons created these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states to the point where when there's a detainer placed on these idiots, so that way ICE could go to the jail and pick them up, and instead you go, oh, we're not honoring these detainers, and you release them into the community. So that means they have to go and try to track these guys down and women down out in the community rather than just going to the jail and picking them up and taking them back to the federal facility. and holding them and getting them out. So that way there's no interaction in the community, and that's much safer. Yeah, that makes sense. That's where I'm talking about, where the Democrats are absolute fucking morons. They're creating this problem. They are creating this stuff. They're not making it any easier. And then they try to blame the conservatives and Donald Trump. They have nothing. They absolutely have nothing except creating problems. And then when somebody like these morons that are getting in front of these ICE vehicles and getting involved in disrupting ICE by trying to uh, get into their uh, issues, like when they're going in to arrest somebody and they want to try to stop them. What the hell do you think's going to happen to these people? They're interfering with the lawful arrest of somebody. The Democrats are sitting there calling for this stuff by calling these ICE officers Nazis and brown shirts and everything else that they can think of. They're calling for violence against these officers. These are law enforcement officers. They're the same as the police officers patrolling the community. No different. And when you call for violence against law enforcement, you have a problem with me. You have a big problem with me. How many officers have been ambushed here in the last couple years? A lot. We just had what, one last night? A couple officers got ambushed last night. One of them is now dead because of it. I take that crap personally because I wore that badge. And that badge is heavy. It carries a lot of weight behind it. Oh, yeah, it might only weigh about a few ounces when you put it on that shirt. But behind it, it is extremely heavy. Because you can take somebody's liberty away, freedom. You can charge them with crimes, anywhere from a minor misdemeanor to a major felony. And you can take their life away. That's a lot of weight that you carry. A lot. And a lot of that is dependent on split second decisions. that so many people cannot even possibly fathom. But yet, you're going to sit there and you're going to try to just denigrate, and you're going to try to second guess everything that that police officer does for that split second decision. You're going to Monday morning quarterback that to death, and you weren't even there. You have no idea what happened prior to. You can watch body camera video all day long, that split little second, and destroy it and destroy the officer as much as you want. But you have no idea what happened. No idea. Do officers make mistakes? Absolutely. Absolutely. We're human. We're not perfect. No one's perfect. No one. However, the number of officers out there that are a problem is so minuscule compared to any other profession, including clergy. It would blow your mind away. Because you're talking less than 1/10 of 1% of officers that are a problem. Find that in any other profession. Even doctors are worse than that. They're around 10% in that category. Lawyers, same thing. Clergy, same thing. Police are one of the most respected professions anywhere, especially in the United States. Yes, you're going to see the ones that are the bad ones. They're the ones that get all the attention in the press. When they come out, when they do something bad, yes, they get pummeled. But how rare is it? It's extremely rare. For the millions upon millions of runs that these officers handle every year, and for the so few numbers of them that there are, you couldn't ask for a greater bunch of people and what they stand for. I will defend police officers to my death. Because I walked the walk and I talked the talk. When somebody sits there and tries to say, "Who? What do you know about it?" Huh, I know way more than 99.9% of you. I've run the gamut in policing. I've had wild complaints filed against me. I've had been involved in a shooting. It's all happened to me. Then I've had that injury, which caused my stroke, which caused me to have to retire. 1 year of rehabilitation to learn to walk and talk again. That was one of the scariest things in my life, to wake up with half my body completely shut down. The total right, my right side, totally shut down. Couldn't feel anything, couldn't do anything, couldn't breathe. That's what woke me up, because this was happening in the middle of the night. The fortunate thing for me was my age that helped me to be able to recover to the point of where I am right now. But it's also gotten me to the point where I'm starting to fall apart like I am right now due to where the stroke was located in my brain. That's the breaks. That's what I have to live with. But you just got to get up every day, look to the sky, and say, "Thank you, Lord, for giving me another day. And I will do what I can in your name and as your will dictates." Is it hard? Absolutely. But here I am, and I'm not going away anytime soon, God willing. because I got too much fight left in me because I'm going to fight for law enforcement. That's priority one. There are so few of them and so many people in this nation. You talk about thin blue line, you have no idea how thin that line is. No idea. And it's getting thinner by the day because of the libtards in this country and what they are doing to these people that are officers and the harm they are doing to them. It's absolutely insane. But I will still defend these police officers. Same with firefighters. Heck, when I was a kid, you couldn't, it was so hard to become a firefighter. It was crazy. Same with being a police officer. There were so many people. When I took the test for the police department, there were over 2,500 people taking the test the same day I took the test. I took the test at the Ohio State Fairgrounds in one of their big buildings there that had where they did their uh, whatever presentations. I'm talking. This was a big building, and in fact, they were taking up two of them. Over 2,500 people. Unreal. Now, today, they're giving tests on a continual basis because they can't get more than 10 to 15 people to take the exam. And that's maybe at a time. Cleveland, Ohio gives a 1-day exam. You come in, you take the test, you take the physical test, and then you go through a brief background check. It give you and if you pass all this stuff, you get a conditional appointment of hire right then and there. And then you have a couple small other things, and then you're in the academy. I mean, that is how desperate it has become to get police. A 1-day hiring event. Well, when I went through the process, it was about a month and a half, almost 2 months before I knew I was hired. I was fresh out of the Navy. It didn't take them long to do my background check, for crying out loud. I didn't have anything to look at, just my military record. They knew what I was. It was like, okay, here, here's a guy out of the military. That was that. have him, you know, he was made E5 in 4 years. That's incredible in itself. No disciplinary wasn't a disciplinary problem and all that stuff. Hire him. But they did their due diligence and ran me through the gamut. But when it came time for my interview with the public safety director, I walked in and he asked me why I wanted to be a police officer. And of course, I gave the standard answer, to help people and all that stuff. And he looked at me and he said, give me the real reason. Don't give me the standard answer. So I said, well, there was an incident that happened when I was a kid, and I it ended up saving my mom's life, and that's stuck with me, and that's why I decided I wanted to be a police officer. He goes, see, now that's the real reason. He said, you're hired right on the spot. He said, you're second in your academy class. He told me when I would be starting the interview. That's all I said was told him that little story, nothing else. He looked at my file and said, you're hired. And then we sat down and talked about military life because he was a retired colonel from the Army. That's all we ended up doing. Then he said, okay, he says, have a good one. I said, thank you, sir. And off I went. My next thing, I was in the academy. And that was what, 26 weeks? And out on the road we went. Then, unfortunately for me, 13 and a half years later, I was done. Not of my choosing, but I was done. I was the first one in my class that had to retire. Excuse me. So, but like I said, I will defend police. And I will defend those ICE agents. I will defend the Border Patrol. I spent time in Arizona, right there along the border. And I've met Border Patrol agents, and I will tell you, I thought being a police officer was tough. Oh, no way. No way. Those Border Patrol guys, oh my goodness, the stuff they see, the 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 amount of time that they're out there by themselves with large groups of people is just absolutely insane before backup even arrives to them. It's crazy. and I was just stunned about those guys and what they have to go through. I couldn't believe it. Um, and the things they see, the things that these people do in their drug trafficking, the things that they do in their human trafficking. Um, and this was 10 years ago. I can't even imagine what it's like now. But these guys they're out there on those front lines and they do it. And they don't mind doing it. And people, I'm here to tell you that the border patrol is minority majority. The minority of the border patrol is a majority. They're the most of them are already Hispanic, and they are, I mean, so on board with preserving this nation. It is just insanely patriotic. That's all I can say. They love this nation. They believe in the borders of our country. They believe in these people coming and doing it the right way. That's what they believe in. That's what they believe in. And they stand along that border and cruise along that border and stop these people from coming across. That's all you can ask for. That is all you can ask for. And they do a damn good job of it. They do a damn good job. And that's all I mean, I don't know what else you can ask of them. I mean, I really don't know what else you can ask of them. These people are putting their lives on the line on a daily basis, trying to stop these drug cartels, trying to stop these human traffickers. And they see hell. That's all you could call it. They see hell. And they just try to stop it the best they can. And the majority don't even know how to thank them. And that's sad. That is very sad. I know when I lived out there, gosh, I used to buy them dinner and buy their lunches all the time. All the time. If I saw one sitting in a restaurant having his lunch, I was always paying for it. Always. Same with any other police officer. I was always paying for their lunch. They come into the restaurant, give me the bill. Did it to thank them. Don't tell them who paid for it. Just let them have their meal. That's just how I am, even though I was a police officer. But it was my way of letting them know that at least one person cares about what they do. Even though I'm a retiree, I care about what they do. And I will always care about what they do. And I ask that if you're out, you see a police officer having lunch, dinner, pay it forward. Let them know. You don't have to tell tell them that you're paying for their lunch or anything. You can just pay for it and then, walk out. But just just do something like that. Let them look around to try to figure out who paid for it, whatever. But it's just let them know that people care about what they are doing. If people care and not everybody is against them. Because right now the climate is horrible. It is absolutely horrible. And we need to support every one of our police officers and firefighters. Every one of them need it. They all need to be thanked. So please do your part and thank them and thank our military. Thank them for their service because they are giving a they are they have written a check to our country and to our communities for up to and including their lives. It's a blank check. That is a price that is just too costly. And way too many of them end up paying that cost. Please take care of yourselves. We are in a really crazy time in this country and in the world. And I don't know, it's just going to take a lot to get things back to where it should be. There's a way to do it. Unfortunately, those on the left are going to fight it all the way because they have lost their minds They are literally to the point of mental illness. And it is, they are mentally ill. But watch out for yourselves. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't let these idiots harm you or your family. Keep your nose out of your phone when you're out and about. Just stay aware of who's around and what they're doing. Don't be a victim. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. You've been watching and listening to Real Thoughts with Bob Benham. Thank you for tuning in and checking in. I really do appreciate it. And take care of yourselves. And until next time, bye bye.